Audible lets you enjoy all of your audio entertainment in one app. You'll always find the best of what you love or something new to discover. Hey, Ronnie, what have you been listening to on Audible lately?
Well, you know I love some wellness in my life.
Yes.
I read a lot of books that help me, and especially because it is a new year, okay? So I've been really working on my habits. So I've been working on Atomic Habits by James Clear. That's the title I'm really into right now. It's my New Year's title. And guess what? I'm already habitually, atomically better.
Great. Well, here's something to also make you better. New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/crappins or text crappins to 500-500.
Wondery's new podcast, Dis and Tell, wades into the glorious mess of celebrity beef. Each episode explores a different iconic celebrity feud and asks, what does our obsession with these feuds say about us? Follow Dis and Tell wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
Happens when there's so much that happens. Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens? Hello and welcome to Watch Our Crappins, a podcast about all that crap we just love to talk about on ye old Bravo TV or even Peacock. I'm Ben Mandelker, and joining me today is the one and only Mr. Ronnie Karen. Hi, Ronnie. How are you?
Well, hello, Ben. Little Benoonie Tunes. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulously. I'm here in New York once again. For people who are watching on Craps on Demand, you see a different background because I am back in my childhood bedroom where it is -3 degrees and I have questionable lighting. So apologies to people watching on video for the lower quality on this half of the screen.
Still holding on to those Absolute bottles.
Yeah,
Your
no,
first
Sky Vodka. Sky Vodka bottles.
Yeah, that's right.
Going
Sky
strong.
bottle.
Yeah. So yeah, everything's going well. By the way, thank you to everyone who voted in round one for the Crappies. We had like just under 20,000 votes, which is amazing. And we will announce the nominations on Monday, this coming Monday, February 5th, which will be very exciting. That'll be when round two opens up and everyone can vote on the official nominees for the Crappies, which are taking place on February 17th in Los Angeles. Of course, we would love for you to come see it live with us. You can get a ticket at watchourcrappins.com. But if you can't make it to the live show, we do have a streaming option, which is available via Moment, our friends at Moment. So all that information, it's on our website. It's also, you can use the links in our bios on our social media. So come watch the Crappies in some form or another. We'd love to have you. And be sure to vote on Monday when the nominations officially open again.
Yeah, very well done. Well done, Ben. So this is Traitors. We're going to talk a little bit about Potomac at the end of this recap. If you want to know exactly when, just check the time codes in the description for this episode. Okay, it'll be at the end. We'll spend about 20 minutes on there. Sometimes in life you got to choose. We chose the Traitors.
Yeah.
But not to say that we've murdered Real Housewives of Potomac. We've just moved them to the side. While murder takes the screen. I love this show.
Traitors.
I love the Traitors. I love it. It's so good. I liked season 1. I liked it okay, but I love this one. I'm into it. I don't even scroll on my phone.
Yeah. This season is, yeah, I agree. I don't scroll on my phone and I watch it right away as soon as I possibly can. And it's amazing because they are so bad at it. It's such a funny reality show concept. Like normally when you watch Survivor and people are bad at Survivor, you get so mad and you say, this is a terrible season because no one's using real strategy. But on this show, they're all flopping around like fish on a dock. And they have no idea. And every now and then they get like, I'm talking, of course, about The Faithful. But every now and then they have like a glimmer of an idea of like, oh, this would be a good line of thinking. And then they just full on abandon it. I mean, for crying out loud, they gave Ekin-Su, they made the Traitors give Ekin-Su a chalice of poison. And the Faithful still couldn't figure anything out. They still couldn't figure out like who poisoned Ekin-Su. They couldn't even just like sit for a moment and run down a list of names. They just were like, oh, Ekin-Su's like, I just can't remember. They're like, okay, well, moving on.
And
It's
the
hilarious.
worst was Trishelle being like, yeah, you know what's crazy is that I remember someone giving Ekin-Su wine, but I don't remember who.
Should I jog my memory about it? No.
No,
I'm
not
busy.
gonna and no one asked her anything about it. When was this? Where were we? Was anybody around you? Because it was in front of all of you. It was in front of like 5 of you, you dopes.
I know. I guess Trishelle was too busy planning her next break the internet costume change.
Which American Girl doll is she going to be? Will she be from Pittsburgh this time, or will she be from New England? You know, part of it is I feel like it's unfair to call everybody on this show stupid because we know the answers. It's not fair. I usually don't like mysteries where it starts with you knowing who the killer is, because a lot of them are like that. Like, I could never really get too into that show, Poker Face, where that girl's like, hey, the girl who talks like Lisa Hochstein is like, oh yeah, I can solve a murder. My big thing is knowing when people are lying. I really like her, Natasha Lyonne, that show,
Yeah.
Poker Face. Love it, which is also on this channel. But I can't watch all of them because it starts with you knowing who the killer is. And then you have to see her kind of figuring it out. That's no fun. I like to figure it out with the people, you know?
I mean, I like knowing and then seeing them figure it out. I believe that's called, I remember in English class in high school, we learned that that's called dramatic irony. And I like dramatic irony. I think, and I agree with you, it is much harder when you're in the thick of it and you have no answers. It is really, really hard. You are grasping at straws. But that being said, there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of strategy. Like we see glimpses of it, but no one stops and says, hey, if I were a traitor, how would I be acting? Now, given how I would be acting, let me see who is acting like that in our group of people. Like, sometimes they sort of say that, but they never follow through. It's hilarious.
Well, you know what this cast is not guilty of. No one would accuse any of these people of having any kind of legerity. There you go. Everybody just sit with that word. That was my word of the day that I got today from my word a day emails. That is Middle French, mid-16th century. I mean, duh.
Right. You're right.
And it means alert quickness of mind or body. So none of this cast would, and the picture is a squirrel kind of flying through the air. So thank you, word of the day. You're really changing my life.
Is the squirrel, is that like an example of legerity?
Yes, because it has a quickness of the body, at least. Here, look at this picture. Do you see it?
Hold on. Wow, that squirrel really is exhibiting a lot of legerity.
The legerity. Hey, is your name Jerry? Because wow, the Jerry in your You're fantastic. What a fantastic animal. But yeah, I think it's unfair because of course we can guess, but again, you know, I say this every time we talk about this show, there's no real way to start guessing these people until you're like 6 episodes in, because it's just randomly picked who the murderers are going to be. They don't necessarily have any motive or whatever. So it's not like a regular thing. Now, that said, we are getting to the good part because this is 5 episode, the 5th episode. We are 5 episodes in now. So now they are starting to see little cracks in each other and stuff, and I think it'll start getting a lot more juicy with the murder.
All right, well, let's dive into it because I've got a lot of things to say, particularly about that idiot Kevin. So, where we last left off, Phaedra had just basically told Parvati.
I mean, read Parvati for filth. Yeah, she read.
Everyone hates you.
And everyone thinks you're a traitor.
No one likes you, Parvati.
So we're in the middle of that, and she said, for you to go in there and try to throw me under saying that I'm an actress and I have a clique. And she's like, I never said your name. She goes, but you said housewives. Yeah, Parvati. I never said your name. I just said that all housewives are trash and nobody should believe a fucking thing that those rubber-faced idiots say. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, what I do?
I was talking about Larsa. She goes, no, you weren't. You said the housewives. That's what you said. And she goes, well, I was doing that because I needed to get Larsa out. And she goes, well, don't do it with my name. That pisses me off.
And probably the first housewife to ever say this. She goes, I am not an actress. How dare you?
I know. This was great, by the way. I felt like we were seeing the real Phaedra Parks. Like, I felt like we were getting a glimpse into how Phaedra talks with her clients. Like, what did you do there on the stand? Why were you saying that? Like, this was real Phaedra coming through, which is why I think she's so exhilarating on this show, because it's so hard.
Oh, yeah, because Phaedra, they keep saying, where's the real Phaedra? You know, you get her on all these other shows and she's just nice. She won't talk about any of the drama from Atlanta. She won't get into it with anybody. She just will make little sex jokes and be reasonable. And people are like, that's not fair. Why bring back Phaedra when she's kind of neutered, you know? But it turns out all you really need to do is just really piss her off. And that's what happened here.
Exactly. So Parvati's like, got it. Okay, hold on. Let me just give like a quick eye squint. Okay, got one out. Thanks. She is all that Parvati does for most of the show is look around and squint her eyes. It's like she's constantly looking for a source of light that she can stare into just so she can close her eyes a little bit.
Well, she does look at Dan for help because I feel like that's kind of what she would do, of course, is like, can you believe that she's talking to me like this, Dan? You know, she had like a flash. Yeah, I've got a headband the size of a baby arm. Can you believe someone's talking to me like that? But she looks at Dan, and Dan's just like all bug-eyed, looking to the side, like, I'm not stepping into this. You fucking crazy? Like, no way.
Well, he's also like, he like caused this. I mean, he was the one who told Parvati like we should take a hit on Phaedra first, and then Parvati goes and does it. And now Phaedra's mad at Parvati, so Parvati's like, look, I'm not trying to sabotage you in any way, and I apologize. And Phaedra goes, well, I accept that. I accept your apology. Let's proceed. But you know that she does not accept it whatsoever, and she's got like one eye on Parvati now.
Yes. And Dan's got two eyes, and they're very big and bulgy and frog-like.
Yeah, he's like, hey, I'm glad you guys are able to clear the air because it's so important that we work together when we're fighting off the house. I don't have any real opinions. I'm waiting till tomorrow. So
here's how this game works. All right. Oh, God damn. So Parvati's like, okay, so everybody, I took the lead last night with Heck and Sue. He's like, you did a great job. And she's like, right. Okay. So you know what, Phaedra? You can have the ball in your court tonight. Why don't you do that? How about that, Phaedra? Since I made you so mad right now. She's like, okay. Well, luckily I believe in grace. So I believe in grace and cash payments and parking lots. So you've given me one out of the two, and we shall proceed.
She's decided that she wants to cause confusion. So it's got to be someone who's skilled at playing the game. So she's thinking first Sandra, and Parvati's like, yeah, she's so good at strategy, and she doesn't even wear a headband. So at some point, if one of us has suspicion on us and the numbers are dwindling, she'll pull the trigger on any of us.
And then Phaedra brings up Tamara's name. And Parvati's like, well, that would be, like, I think a surprise. I mean, she's kind of a loose cannon, and you don't know where she's going to go. She's I'm sorry, I don't want to say it.
She's a headband denier. That's what I meant to say. So Phaedra's like, yeah, you don't know where she's going to go. I'm like, I'll tell you where she will go. She will always go down the wrong alley. And she'll do it in a very funny way, but Tamara has been wrong almost actually every single episode, I think. She's so not a threat.
Yeah. I don't, the ones that they assume are threats are the people that came into this being good in other games, like Sandra. Sandra's not really good at it. I mean, we haven't seen any proof that Sandra's good. She hasn't. I mean, right now it's just, are they good at guessing? And nobody's really good at guessing because nobody's guessed anything except MJ guessed Dan. And we'll see how far that gets us for a second. And then, the thing is this, they probably should not get rid of Sandra, or if they were going to get rid of Sandra, maybe earlier, I don't know when, but I think when you kill off Sandra, it puts suspicion on Parvati, because they're both vying to be queen of Survivor. So, only the Survivor people watch Survivor. So that's the other thing. People who watch all of the CBS shows or whatever, of course they know who's good. These Bravo people don't know who you are, and they don't care. I mean, as far as you're concerned, you're people without Botox. That's all they see, you know? You're basically second-class citizens to everybody on Bravo. They're like, why would they let their face grow like that?
Yeah. Whoa, so which one of these causes more confusion? If you murder Sandra, does it cause more confusion? Or if you murder Tamra, well, you gotta make that call. I don't know.
But I can tell you this much, in this game...
In this game, there are no dumpsters, so possums have no use.
Let me tell you what causes confusion in this game. Literally anything. It's a bunch of very confused people. Okay. If there's an extra croissant on the table, everybody's confused. Like, wait, there's an extra croissant. MJ did it. Get her.
I mean, that's kind of like the basis of like half the evictions so far. I mean, I personally would keep Tamra just because Tamra, she does go down the wrong path quite a bit and she's tenacious about it. I think that's someone you want on your side if you are a traitor.
Well, she's extremely dangerous, but she's dangerous equally to everybody. You know, It's like keeping a loaded gun with a child in the house. You know it's dangerous, but at least it's as dangerous for mom as it is for the brother. They're like, we're all in danger here, but at least we've got a gun.
She's literally like an atomic bomb. I mean, it's like Oppenheimer when he made the atomic bomb. Like when he opened up the lid and was like, "There's the bomb." It was literally Tamara's face because
Betchenheimer, bitch.
That's
right.
Betchenheimer. Hottest bomb there is in Orange County. So,
Boom, you just got destroyed by hotness, stupid.
By the way, I'm sorry, Ben. What were you going to say? I didn't mean to
I said, "Were you in Bass Lake?" An oldie but goodie bite from Tamara.
I forgot to congratulate my partner, Ben. Okay, so last week we announced it was our 12-year anniversary. It's been a big week, okay? It was our 12-year anniversary. Also, something huge happened, and it involves Tamara Barney. Something huge happened to this podcast. For years, people have been trying to get the term cut fitness, which is our alternative for the C word, which we came up with years and years ago because Tamara has a gym or had a gym called Cut Fitness. And Tamara was the person we probably used the C word for the most back in the day when it was still allowed. Everybody get off my ass. Okay. we stopped this a long time ago, but our substitute word is Cut Fitness. It is in Urban Dictionary. Thank you to Kate the Great or whoever got that in there. I don't think I've ever been prouder, but it says Cut Fitness, a term coined by the Watch What Crappens podcast.
Yeah. Huge honor.
History.
It's a great way to ring in 12 years of podcasting. It's having a term in the Urban Dictionary. That's apparently been there for like 5 years too, but that's,
That's it.
It said 2019, right?
Well, that's when they submitted it, but it wasn't accepted back then. I don't know.
Really?
Maybe they just have a backlog over there. I don't know.
Wow. It just shows that, miracles can happen. If someone like Tamara can be put on TV, if Cut Fitness can make it into the Urban Dictionary, then guess what, everyone? Your dreams can come true.
Yeah. And it got in there just in time for the C word to come back and it to be okay again in some circles. So there you go. It's one thing we're great at, timing. And
Yeah.
Timing.
You've done great work with that word. So, anyway. Back to the show. It's the next morning at murder breakfast. This morning, the players will make their way down the breakfast, but one faithful won't be joining them.
Be murdered.
So, CT and Janelle are first, and tight jeans. Loving CT's, loving his haunches. His thighs are the breakout star of this season in my mind.
Well, I hope they do break out.
They will break out soon enough.
Because raw.
They will break
I guess
out.
it's no fair. Like some people gain weight they gain it in such a lucky way. His is just so cute. Like I want to gain weight like that. I don't gain weight like that. My butt just stays flat no matter how big the rest of me gets. My butt is just flat and droopy. I want that butt. Give me that butt.
I mean, we've all heard of dad bod, but I've never heard of like dad thighs. And that's like, it's like tree trunks down there. It's
yeah,
wild.
I think that's a dad because most dads don't have that, Like what are they doing? What are you squatting for breakfast? I fucking love it. Love him.
Yeah,
okay. So CT and Janelle are the first to come back down, and they're talking about who they think it is. And she's like, "Oh my god, I feel like it never been the first one to breakfast. Like, what is everybody stupid? Everybody's probably sleeping late because they're dumb, fucking idiots."
Enjoy not having scones, bitches. So, CT's like, so is that like a good thing? Like, because now the paranoia is set in, it's because like with the first ones here, like, especially last time because of the poison, I thought it was either you or me, to be honest. I can't believe even, like, that was wicked scary. We almost got killed over there before. Wow. And he's just saying that he just doesn't trust anyone in the game. And
especially those housewives. Am I right? Those ladies are scary. And she's like, yeah, but like the housewives are just like trying to get votes together to get someone out of the game. Like, I don't think there's a strategy. Do you know why? Because they're fucking idiots, okay? There's no skill. There's no strategy to be this like mastermind about who to murder.
Says Janelle, who has not shown any strategy this entire season except running for those shields.
Or many. I mean, Janelle, I think, is a very popular Big Brother player because she's fucking hilarious and because she's a shallow little B word. Like she's such an asshole to everybody, and it's fun to watch. You know, it really is. Really is a good quality to have as a TV star. Not necessarily as a human, but as a TV star, it's super fun. But I don't think anybody would accuse her of being good at the game, right? I mean, let's look at her past couple of seasons of Big Brother.
I was going to say, I mean, I feel like Janelle's, her strategic peak was maybe about 20 years ago, which is wild to say that. But, you know, she made it far on her initial season and she made it far on the first All-Star season, but it's been pretty abysmal since then. So I love me, Janelle. Probably one of my favorite reality stars of all time, but even I have to admit, she could be better. She could be better at this kind of stuff.
Oh, she could be better.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
A new year is a great time to grow your business, but if you're stuck in the trenches of daily tasks like managing order fulfillment, you're not able to focus on what really matters, increasing sales.
ShipStation can help increase your profitability by automating your workflow and keeping costs down with industry-leading discounts.
No matter where you sell or how you ship, your business can grow with ShipStation.
The order details page easily automates shipping tasks and manage orders in one simple dashboard.
Yeah, the order details page lets you quickly and easily update crucial order information and reduce errors.
It's effortless integration everywhere you sell online, including Amazon, Etsy, eBay, Shopify, and more.
ShipStation has enterprise solutions that reduce warehouse costs and improve profitability.
ShipStation's robust automations and reporting make scaling easy. And as your business grows, you can save thousands on shipping costs.
Over 130,000 companies have grown their e-commerce businesses with ShipStation, and 98% of companies that stick with ShipStation for a year become customers for life.
Make this year your most profitable one yet with ShipStation. Use promo code Crappens today at ShipStation.com to sign up for your free 30-day trial.
That's ShipStation.com, promo code Crappens.
Being an actual royal is never about finding your happy ending. But the worst part is, if they step out of line or fall in love with the wrong person,
it changes the course of history.
I'm Arisha Skidmore-Williams.
And I'm Brooke Ziffrin.
We've been telling the stories of the rich and famous on the hit Wondery show Even the Rich, and talking about the latest celebrity news on Rich and Daily. We're going all over the world on our new show, Even the Royals.
We'll be diving headfirst into the lives of the world's kings, queens, and all the wannabes in their orbit throughout history. Think Succession meets The Crown meets real life.
We're going to pull back the gilded curtain and show how royal status might be bright and shiny, but it comes at the expense of, well, everything else. Like your freedom, your privacy, and sometimes even your head.
Follow Even the Royals on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Even the Royals early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus.
So,
or if I just missed a spot shaving. Sorry, it's neither here nor there. Go ahead, Ben.
well, Peter and John enter, and everyone's like very happy, and Peter's like saying that he's like, this is going to start getting very, very telling, which is hilarious because they've not been able to tell anything. And Janelle's like, yeah, we're getting closer to the traitor because there's less faithfuls in the castle.
Yeah, so just math.
Great logic here.
Yeah, just math. We're getting close because math. And he's like, this is the exact opposite of The Bachelor, because in The Bachelor, you have to follow your heart. But here, you have to follow your mind. And when I'm at home, I have to follow, Peter, it's your mother. I love you, Peter. Peter and his mother. I know you're not a Bachelor watcher, but God, they really need to have Peter's mother on here as a special guest because she's like in love with her son, and she kept coming in between all of the ladies. It was like Peter's final date, and it's just the mom being like, Peter, you can't break up with her. Peter, we love her, Peter.
They definitely need to cast like a mother-child duo for next season. I think that would be great.
Peter's mom, Barbara, I think her name was Barbara. We need some Barbara in our lives. But yeah, Peter's a big dummy, and I think he's stunted at whatever age his mother initially fell in love with him. I'm guessing around 14. By the way, I don't mean anything sexual. I just mean that age where the mom's like, you're married to your mother now, Peter. Yeah. And he just kind of stays stunted at that age. And he just looks like a little boy still, kind of looking around like, guys, I've got it. Someone here's a murderer. Well done, Peter. You're doing great, kid.
I'm going to tell my mom after this that I figured it out. So Peter's like, he's like, yeah, we need to start finding a way to get these traitors to start going against each other. Like, there's got to be like a guy in the group of traitors, at least one. And I'm very confident it's not one of the three of us. I was like, okay, so you just crammed 3 sentences together that just don't make any sense. Okay, so we got to make the traitors start going against each other. I mean, sure, but like, how's that going to help you? Because like the traitors are not going to go against each other right now because they don't have to, because the faithful are going against each other. So that's not going to work. And then there's got to be a guy in the group of traitors. Well, there is a guy, but there doesn't have to be a guy. There's no logic says there has to be a guy in the group of traitors. That's just an idea that was put out there by Larsa, I think. And now it's like, oh, well, but law of averages. It just so happens to be correct, but it doesn't have to be correct. And then he goes, and by the way, I'm confident it's not one of us 3. Well, how do you know that, Peter? Like, you've been wrong about everything so far. Like, they just build the case off of all these crazy assumptions.
Yeah. And stab in the dark. That's what you got to do on this show. Like, who knows? So CT's like, what do you think? Like Kevin or Bergie? And he's like, I mean, I don't think it's Kevin. I don't think it's Bergie because I've got all my trust in him. Well,
that doesn't mean that.
So what does that mean? That Bergie would tell you if he was a traitor just because he likes you? I mean, even Bergie's not that dumb.
But then he finally does land on something. He's like, well, my suspicion right now, if there has to be a guy, is that it's Dan. So I'm like, okay, well, thank you. Thank you for finally landing on something that seems to make sense.
And you're correct. And so we'd also both like to hear, I'm issuing a joint apology for talking for 5 solid minutes about how stupid you are and how in love with your mother you are. Okay. At least you got this one right, Peter. So there you go.
Yeah. But why, yeah, he got it right, but also like way too late. Cause MJ was calling out Dan 2 episodes ago. She called out Dan on episode 3. So now, Kevin enters and, Kevin drives me nuts. He is so dumb. He's so dumb and he's actually like arrogant too. It's like the worst combination and he contributes so little. And the fact that he got to control the narrative at the round table this week pissed me off.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry, that really came out. It really tumbled out. I wasn't expecting
it. Really
that.
Did. That piss was accented. It's like, oh,
piss off. It was like, but it's just like there's like a certain like dumbness. You know what it is? He reminds me of every person in a group project who's dragged down the group project. Like we've all been there, right? Like anytime it's like in school, a group project, or just in work, or anytime you've had to have a group project, there's always a Kevin who like you come up with a plan. And he's like, wait, but I don't really understand. Why don't we just do like a pie chart? It's like, because we're coming up with an arrangement of a cappella music. You don't put a pie chart in an a cappella performance, Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin, you've really been tortured in group projects over the years.
You don't
brought
even
up
know,
group projects. You brought up group projects a lot. I feel like there's a very dark story there in your group project.
I'm
history.
still traumatized by a group project I had to do freshman year of college, where I had to do a presentation about how a boombox works.
Oh no,
I'm traumatized. I'm still traumatized to this day.
Was someone just trying to take over the whole project by just being the guy who comes in and lifts it above his head and plays the song for the...
I was like, what, you think you could just say anything? No, he actually did no work, and I wound up picking up the work because I was like, I did it like passive aggressive, like, fine, I'll do all the work. How about that? And then like I was mad at him instead of me saying like, hey, could you do some of your work? I of course didn't. I was non-confrontational, and then I took on the work and resented him. But then he comes in with ideas, and I was like, you know what? Fuck you. So yeah, it all comes back to the Boombox Project and Kevin.
Oh, Kevin.
It's Kevin.
He was eating another chocolate croissant from the breakfast. It's like, and you're eating all the breakfast, Kevin.
He's like, here's how a boombox works. Okay, you have to have layers of butter and dough and butter and dough. It's like, Kevin, that's how a croissant works.
Kevin, why are you eating the boombox, Kevin? It's our group project.
He's like, but there's chocolate inside. No, that's an Apano chocolate, not a boombox.
So then Bergie comes in. He's alive. And Dan and Sheree come in next. And Janelle's like, I didn't sleep last night. I'm like so stressed out from like thinking about this game, you know, and how many stupid people are here. And Dan's like, yeah, well, you know what? This is how this game works. Every night without the shield, you got to sweat. You know, and like, I don't even understand why I'm sweating. Like, you guys think it's what? You think it's like a psychological thing? Yeah, because you know you're not safe, Dan. How is anybody falling for Dan's act? Dan is the worst actor here, and that's saying something.
Exactly. So MJ comes in next, and then there's like a big knock, boom, boom, boom. And Janelle says the thing that I don't think many people watching the show say, which is, please be Trishelle. I'm like, please don't be. Can someone please just stab one of those berets and send it back to America?
MJ comes in, and then dun dun dun. Oh, you already said that part. Sorry. Dun dun dun. They start talking about it, and then we cut back to the around the fire moment. What's it called? Where they're in
basically,
what do they call that when they're around the fire deciding who's going to go?
The Traitors turret.
Yeah, they're in the turret.
Basically, Phaedra and Sandra come in next. So it's basically Tamara was killed, which I was devastated because I really feel like this show is such a great vehicle for Tamara. Like, it's just so perfect for her wild conspiracy theories and impulses towards witch hunts. I mean, she does it every season on Orange County, but like, here's where she can do it, and it actually seems charming and fun.
You're right. And I was actually sad. This is the first time Tamara's ever been fired that I've been sad.
I was like literally devastated. I was like, how could you get rid of Tamara? We still needed way more episodes of her on this show.
She's been good on it. She's been really funny on it. And I feel like they have an anti-housewives bias, and I'm pissed at this point. Like, I don't think it's fair. And I really, I hope that the housewives finally do band together and get rid of all these CBS assholes, because I feel like they have
CBS assholes.
They are. They're so snobby. Like, oh, we're so smart because we're from like Big Brother. Big Brother is known for having the dumbest people on earth. Okay. It's a fucking giant carnival game. I'm so sick of people acting like they're tough shit from being from Big Brother. That game's for losers. Everybody knows it. And Survivor, oh, wow, you didn't eat for a few days and you didn't take a bath.
Oh, you went on a
like,
diet.
Welcome to my LA life.
I was about to say, like, congratulations, move to LA.
Yeah. It's called intermittent fasting, you fucking losers.
I was so pissed that they got rid of Tamara. I think I'm like begrudgingly becoming a Tamara fan late in life. Even last season of Orange County, which I thought was an amazing season. I don't know why more people don't think it's an amazing season. I thought it was like a literally amazing season of Orange County. And Tamara was so deeply wrong. I was so mad at her, but I think I've like grown to become a big Tamara fan. It's so weird. I don't know what to do with myself.
Well, I was definitely sad that she was gone from here. And I demand more respect for my Real Housewives, damn it.
Yeah, same.
So next it is, so then we see the turret, and Phaedra's like, well, I love my housewife sister, but this is going to bring confusion, and everyone knows I'm loyal to the housewives. Now, why do you guys keep saying everything's going to bring confusion? Like, why is that?
As if they were like really like on track beforehand, and now they need to be confused.
But that's the whole thing. Like, we need to confuse them. They're already confused.
They were confused just by the concept of Scotland. They're like, wait a second, what is it? There's someone named Scott who owns this land? Where are we, bitch?
What does Scott do to get his own fucking land, bitch?
Trishelle's like, Scott just yelled at me. So Dan's like, do you feel okay murdering one of your fellow housewives? And she's like, yeah, it's fine.
Now, I think that Dan and Parvati think that they've got one up on Phaedra here by like, ooh, we got rid of another housewife. Stupid. But they actually did her a huge favor, because I do think that the housewives now are going to be like, oh, or the Bravo people in general are going to be like, oh, the housewife isn't going to get rid of another housewives. They're in a sorority. Everybody has already said that. Like, they've already commented. Right. They're not going to go for each other no matter what. So the fact that two are gone now, I think, is a testament to the housewives not working, or one of them not being a traitor. So
it's so interesting.
Phaedra a favor. Dan.
What I can't tell is whether or not they're viewing MJ as a housewife or not, because she's not a housewife, but she is Bravo. But it seems like they're not really paying attention to MJ like that anymore. It seems like
she's got housewives face still, though. She's got like housewives lips and housewives like kind of Botox. So I think that she's considered a housewife. No matter, I think she's got Bravo crazy face, and she's gonna be considered to be in that boat no matter.
But I think that I think where MJ's biggest asset is having to navigate 30 years of Reza. And I think that's really helping her for the Traitors. Like, she is able to suss out bullshit, and she seems like she is, she's not great, but she picked up on Dan early, and she went off of Dan, which is too bad. But I feel like MJ is sharper than most of them, and I think that's really just comes from years and years and years of putting up with the shots of Sunset.
So then we see Tamra finding the letter on the chair, and they have spelled her name wrong. Can we get some fucking respect in here? You do really just call her Tamara? Her name is Tamra. There's no A. Is that her mother's fault for being kind of a dope? Yes. Is anybody else spelled that way? No. But are you going to go tell Barbara Streisand how to spell her fucking name? How dare you?
You mean Barbara? We've been misspelling it all this time. So Tamra starts...
Or Brittany?
She starts fake crying. She's like, Batch. That's okay. I had the experience. I got to be in this amazing castle. I got to see a little bit of Scotsland, and it's time to go home to be with my kids and my husband. I'm like, stop acting like you have 3 toddlers at home and you're going back to some sort of LL Bean catalog life. Your kids are grown up. One of them is like a fake cowboy who's recovering from overuse of fitness supplements, and you got Eddie who's sitting there frowning in a chair,
and your mom in the guest house fucking the Costco sample guy Frank or whatever that.
In other words, can't wait to see you next season in Orange County. Your biggest fan, Ben.
It's like, yeah.
I didn't know it was so cutthroat. I just hope that it's not a housewife in there that would do this to Miss Spence.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, it is. So now back at the table, they're like, oh my God, you guys, why would they do this to Tamra? Who would do this? And Phaedra just goes, are there any boiled eggs?
Trichelle's like, I don't think Tamra's murder says anything about anything.
Boiled eggs.
But you know what does say something about something? My beret. Everyone take it in. Take it in.
And CT's like, they're just chipping away at they're chipping away at the faithfuls over here. Boiled eggs, anybody? And nobody gets it. Phaedra actually drops the mask here. And this is another moment where they could easily see somebody being cold and callous and figure it out. And they just don't.
Yeah. So Alan walks in. He's rise and shine, my paranoid platoon. Tamra is now dead to us. A real housewife lost her real house life, sent to eternal slumber as we ponder the age-old question: is there life after reality competition show death?
Carpe diem. Indeed. So, once you've finished all your squawking, I'll see you outside.
So now they're still talking. So now CT puts Dan on. Now it's like straight guy versus straight guy. And CT's like, so Dan, how you feel? What you think? Give me a theory. Wicked. Give me a wicked theory. And Dan's like, you know me, in this game, I'm trying to draw the red string between the other string, because that's how you figure stuff out in this game.
And he's like, yeah, I know, but like, I mean, do you have any red socks? I mean, red string anywhere at all? Any assumptions? Come on now.
And he's
Dan's
like, no, I'm just not going to throw out a name. And he goes, nah, listen, I'm not saying throw out a name, like maybe an avenue to explore, maybe a rabbit hole. I mean, at one point or another, I think everyone can say they've all suspected everybody at one point. But you know what? You've never done anything. You've never suspected anything. You haven't said nothing, Dan. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, no, but I think, but I'm starting to suspect things. Hold on, I'm pulling out my red string. I'm about to put it on the wall. No, I'm not going to do it just yet. I don't want to put that red string out on a line yet. But you know what, though? I'm holding red string, so I have a theory coming up soon. See you tomorrow.
And people are watching this, and Dan, to me, looks terrified. I mean, that's the vibe. Dan is definitely giving terrified vibe. I do think it was probably smart for him to not just start naming names just because they were pressuring him, because that would have looked bad too. But man, he has no chill. I'll say that.
I also don't think it's smart to pressure the person that you think is a traitor, at least at this point. Like, pressure them at the round table. But now you've given him a full, like, a multi-hour lead to come up with a story that he can present at the round table. If you suspect him, be more sly. Be like, Dan, what do you think? What do you think? And he could be like, I don't know. And don't be like, come on, give me something. Because he's going to realize, whoa, they're onto me. Just be kind of like sly about it. Be chill and be like, okay, let's put that in the brain. I'll bring this up as evidence later on that he still has no idea what.
Yeah, but it's like when you do one of those real murder mystery parties, and you're always like, I'll bet you did it, Ben. I bet Ben fucking did it. Hey, everybody, I bet Ben did it. Like, no, that's kind of how you play these things. But yeah, I think that you're correct. Like,
to be fair, when I play these games with my board game group, like I literally played one a week ago, and I was in a situation where, like, the game is called Avalon, which I think many people have played. It's kind of like a variation on Mafia or whatever. But I was definitely in a situation where, like, there's like you have to do like a quote unquote mission, and you need the mission to pass if you're good, but if you're a traitor, you make it fail. And so the mission I was on, it failed, and like as soon as it failed, I go, well, Trey is obviously a spy. I just blurted out like that. I was like, everything that I'm saying on this podcast, I do not practice when I play these games. I just pop off immediately. Like, I cannot control myself. I was like, oh, well, Trey's a spy, everyone. And he was totally innocent, by the way. He was totally innocent. But I totally turned into Janelle / everyone on this show. So as much as I say, this is how you act, like, don't call people out. Keep them honest. Like, make sure that they are, like, lulled into a sense of complacency. I cannot do it for shit.
That's funny.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
So Peter, John, and Janelle are kind of huddling up, and they're like, well, wait, has Dan ever said anything? Like, what's going on with Dan? Dan's never accused anybody. And Janelle's like, no, Dan hasn't said shit. And Peter says, yeah, I think that Dan's a traitor, guys. He'd be doing exactly what I'd be doing if I were a traitor. He's been laying low, flying under the radar, wondering when it's going to be legal to marry your mom, wondering what she'd wear to your wedding. Wow. Do you get to dance with her as your bride and as the mother of the bride? So many dances with my mom.
Do we want to hear a professional pilot talk about how he contemplates flying under a radar? I feel like that's maybe not a good metaphor.
I know. Not on Southwest, buddy. Not on Southwest.
Is that where he flies, by the way? Does he fly for Southwest?
I don't know. He's just got that vibe, doesn't he? Where he's like, guys, we're about to land in Lost Wages.
By the way, I also want to extend a heartfelt fuck you to the lady who sat directly behind me on my American Airlines flight flying out here to New York, who coughed the entire time. She sat down behind me. This is what it was. Sat down right behind me the entire time, from the time she sat down till she got off the plane, going like this.
What, your problem is she didn't have enough gravitas in her cough to make it believable?
My problem is, like, put a fucking mask on. I'm sorry. This is not a political statement, everyone. I'll
put on a mask, a scream mask. That's what I'm going to do next time. Just if I'm behind a Ben, I'm just every time they turn around to look at me when I cough, I'm going to be in the scream mask.
If she put on a scream mask, I would have been so happy. Because you're cough. There's a reason why people cover their mouths when they cough. So put on a fucking mask. You're in a plane, for crying out loud. The stupid fucking lady.
Ben's the traitor.
She was the traitor. She was the traitor to my sanity at that moment.
Okay, so later in the castle, Kevin is talking to Dan and CT, and he's like, Janelle just gave me weird traitor vibes. Like I'm gonna put my neck out there, and I'm gonna put her up there because like I've been observing her like very closely since day one, and it all just leads back to her. Every banishment, like her name comes up and then it goes away, right? I mean, that's like a perfect ploy for a traitor to loudly guess everybody on the cast wrongly. That's what a traitor would do. Get themselves in trouble with every single person on the cast over and over again. And moron.
Exactly what a traitor would do. That's the best path forward for a traitor is make themselves public enemy number one.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, Janelle and I were sitting together and everybody was going to go for somebody else. And then she said she believes it's Larsa because of this theory. But I told Janelle, if you get this right and it is Larsa, I will believe her to be faithful. But if not, it's going to not look good for you. I was like, you know what? Shut the fuck up, Kevin. You have no idea what you're talking about. Go back to your freaking Florentine cookies and croissants.
Florentine cookies.
Go back to your scones and Scottish treats.
Yeah.
Because of you, Kevin, snacking so much, people weren't able to figure out if you got poisoned or if Ekin-Su got poisoned.
Also, we're very simple people. I think one of the reasons we might be so sad Tamara left is because she's one of the only ones who would tell Kevin to close his fucking mouth while he eats. You know? I've been waiting for someone on Bravo to say that for years, especially a Southern Charm cast member. Just tell them to close their mouth, please. And finally, we have somebody and you kick her out. Well, enjoy watching Kevin chew, everybody. Enjoy it.
I know. This guy is literally the biggest idiot. Everyone knows he's the biggest idiot. But because he's going to be willing to put his neck out on the line, they're all going to fall in line behind him, which I feel like is a really sad commentary about like how we as humans operate in groups. So Dan's like, I know there's some suspicion on me, so if Janelle's name is going to get called up, I'm fully going to use it to my advantage to win this game as a traitor. Signing off, it's Dan from Big Brother.
And he and CT are both kind of agreeing with Kevin, like, yeah, we'll put Janelle on the spot later. And then we go to Trishelle talking to Janelle, L and L, the L's.
This is a big L scene.
Big L scene. And Trishelle's like, you know what we should do this time? We've got to get a traitor, guys. That's my plan.
It's a great plan. I was thinking that they would just give up on trying to find traitors and maybe just like share some personal stories instead. So Janelle's like, I feel like there's one that's so obvious. And Janelle's like, who? She goes, I mean, you seriously don't know? Seriously? Like there's one that's like, remember, were you not at breakfast? It was like really obvious. She's like, Dan or my beret? My beret is innocent. Don't come for my beret.
And she goes, yeah, Dan. I mean, he still hasn't said anything. Like, I mean, he can't just slip by forever. Now, of course, she's correct. Where she becomes a kind of a bad game player in this is that she just doesn't have any chill, you know, and she goes crazy. And then she doesn't just zero in on one person. She names like 10 people. You know, you can't do that.
That actually was her biggest mistake at the round table. That was such a huge mistake on her part. And that is where she lost it. Oh, I could not believe she did that.
Yeah. Bergie is saying, oh my God, is he going to get murdered before he says a name? Like, what's with Dan? He needs to name somebody. And she goes, yeah, well, I do suspect that Dan's a traitor because I can see all his moves, all of his Big Brother moves, and I know them. Like Dan, in the start, he just plays possum, and then he springs into action when the numbers are in his favor, and he starts attacking. He's so devious. He is devious.
So then Dan meets outside with John and Janelle, and he's like, you two people I feel comfortable with, okay? And then he tells us, I really respect Janelle as someone who's dangerous in this game, so I gotta make sure I'm right there with her, because if the wolves are closer to me, they're a little bit easier to stab in the back. I'm like, you're gonna stab a wolf in the back? just that doesn't seem like a smart way to operate in life. Just leave the wolves alone. But you know what? Don't go out into the wilderness in Alaska. Don't try to stab wolves in the back. It's not going to work out.
Yeah. And then let's see here. So Dan goes, he's Dan. So he just like talks to the camera a lot. And Janelle's like, yeah, I know Dan. He's lied to me before, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Okay. Fool me 9 times. It just keeps going. And you're a bitch. Fool me for the 3rd time and you're stupid. Fool me for a 4th time and you're ugly. Fool me for a 5th time. You smell.
In this game, if you fool someone for a 6th time, you're going to be in trouble. That's why I plan to fool her for a 5th time, and that's it.
So she's like, guys, as a group, we're totally getting out of Traitor tonight. So now's the time for the challenge, which is where the show kind of falls apart for me. I don't really understand these or really like them, but you can't just have a bunch of people walking around accusing each other of things. So I get why you have to have them, but this part could use maybe some more thought.
Yes, it does. I personally think we could literally have an entire hour of people just pointing fingers and accusing. Like, I want the round table to go on for 20 minutes. That would be my favorite thing. But I'm with you. I think these challenges don't really contribute to sussing anything out, but at least this season they brought this like concept of the shields into play, which I think is actually an improvement. And the challenges themselves are really good. They just don't make any sense, like as part of the larger game. But this one's particularly wacky. The challenges have been very wacky this season. I mean, they were running around in a graveyard, avoiding like Alcatraz spotlights, and then there was a funeral procession where they're trying to figure out who amongst them is poisoned. It's all kind of ridiculous.
And this one was pretty good because it leads people to actually come up with some gameplay, which is nice because we haven't seen that a lot yet on this show. So this one, they're going to have maps and they're going to have to go find a bunch of birds, and the birds will make sounds. And then there's going to be a team on the inside of the mansion who is going to have to hear all these descriptions on a walkie-talkie and then go find the birds inside the house, like the little statues of the birds or whatever. So the trick is whoever plays on the outside also has the chance to say fuck the map and go find shields. Mm-hmm. So now they have to decide amongst them who's going to even have the chance to go find shields, who's going to be on the outside teams of 2.
Right. And so a bunch of them want to be outside because they want the shields. Like Sherea's like, well, I've never gotten a shield. I've never gotten a shield or baseboards. And Kevin's like, he wants a shield because he's like, I've never gotten a shield and I've been a team player for a long time, sacrificing shields. Like, shut the fuck up, Kevin. You're not a hero.
Kevin, you really fucked Ben over on that boombox project. You're never going to forget it.
I will never forget the boombox project.
Let's see. Who else doesn't? Some people basically they start splitting up into teams of 2. This is another thing with challenges. As far as recapping, my eyes start crossing. I'm reading all the notes, being like, what?
I will say this: while everyone gets into groups of 2, I know there are going to be some people out there that are going to say, "Wait a second, Ben, why were you doing a presentation on how a boombox works?" The answer is, it was freshman year, and I was taking a class it was an engineering class, and it was about how everyday objects work, and you use that to learn about principles of science, etc. So if you're wondering why I was doing a presentation on a boombox, no, because I know I'll get messages like, I have to know, why are you doing a presentation on a boombox? I will get a million messages. It's this exact sort of thing.
I thought you meant I'm going to get messages saying, Ben, what do you mean? How does a boombox works? The answer is obvious. Jesus.
The power of prayer. They were originally called prayer boxes and then decided to call them boom boxes because guess what? You can't have a boom without a prayer.
Yeah, my first school is called Jesus Chapel, so that would have been my answer. Okay, let's move forward, shall we?
Maybe that's why that guy didn't do any work, because he just knew the answer all along was Jesus.
CT and Dan go inside. They volunteer to go inside. And Peter's like, I'm thinking I need a shield today. I have a couple of cards still to play. I mean, one of the golden shields. I already have a human shield. My mom. God, I miss her.
So this whole challenge is funny because essentially like a duo will get to a bird watching stand and they blow like one of those bird calling things that goes, and and basically they play like a bird noise back that's like, oh, oh, and then they have to like radio in. The bird sounds like this, oh, oh, and then everyone on the inside starts running around this castle going, oh, oh, oh.
And they have to play the sound effects on the stuffed birds to see which one matches the one. I mean, it is pretty funny. And Sandra doesn't say a whole lot, but this really spoke to me. She goes, I'm totally disappointed that there's no shields in the house. Like, there should be shields inside for people that hate to run, like me and Phaedra. Yeah, justice for the sedentary people. Why are only the people who run everywhere the ones eligible to win shit on this show? I don't think that's fair. I think they should split up challenges where some of them are brain challenges, like they do on Survivor or Big Brother or whatever.
100%. And in fact, Survivor has kind of stepped away from brain challenges. Every Survivor challenge is like, jump into the water and haul a thing to the beach and bring that thing up the beach and untie a thing. And then there's like a million knots. And then you got to like go through a knot. You have to balance over a beam with the thing. And then at the very end, there's a puzzle. So it's like, oh, we'll throw a bone to the smart people because here's a puzzle at the end. But like, you have to like literally destroy yourself in the ocean and on the beach before you get to there. So I am actually totally agree with Sandra. I think that there need to be more cerebral things. And I don't want, because also, by the way, it's not a thrill for me to watch people running. People who are out of shape running around on TV. Like, I don't mind if there's an athlete who's running because that's their job. But like, when you watch people that are panting and just like out of breath on TV, like, to me, that's not exciting. To me, that reminds me of times when I've panted and I've been out of breath. And I don't like it whatsoever.
Yeah. Kevin and Sheree make it to a bird nesting spot, and they have like a little barking dog sounding bird. So basically they have to make these sounds. I mean, it's pretty funny. So let's get to some gameplay parts in here. Is it where Peter? Okay. So Janelle and Peter have, Peter comes up with a strategy, basically. He's saying all the 6 people who are outside, they're split up into teams of 2, and they're looking for these birds. And he's like, listen, whoever gets the shield in this should not tell them who has a shield, so we can trick the traitors. Whoever the traitors aren't going to know who has the shield.
Right. I was like, okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Even though I thought when they came back, didn't one of them automatically say we got the shield? Maybe they were telling, maybe it was like Bergie telling Peter or something like that. But they basically were like, we're not going to tell anyone any information, and we can use this to our advantage. So like, okay, not sure how this will work, but like, I'm happy to see someone trying to think on like a deeper level of deception.
Yeah, exactly. And so he and Janelle run up to one bird, and he presses the record, and the sound is this. Peter, come back to me. I miss you, Peter. He's like, Mom, my mom's the bird. She's like, no, I'm here behind the tree. Come here, give me a hug. The security's just holding her back.
Barbara.
I was surprised when Kevin pressed the button on a bird and the bird said this.
Shut your fucking mouth when you're eating your croissant, bitch.
I was like, thank God for that bird.
Oh, okay. So Janelle, so now they come back, right? And Alan's like, well, players, this castle has heard some high-pitched shrieks. Oh, the best part of this, by the way, was the inside team. CT just running with his hands over his head, screaming through the house. It was like Brooks Marks doing the snowshoe scene.
It was such pandemonium in that house, and Alan Cumming just had to stand there and just like receive people's guesses. And he looked like he could barely control his laughter because he had to stay there basically in his Alan Cumming character, and everyone just flopping around him. It was so bizarre. And especially the fact that there was someone from like the House of Commons running around. It was wild.
The person who won the shield, the people who won the shield were actually Bergie and, who was Bergie with?
I think was Bergie with Sheree? No, Kevin was with Sheree. Bergie was with, oh geez. Was it Bergie and Trishelle? No.
I don't remember, but it was Bergie and his partner. They won it, right? And so he told Peter, and then Peter's like, okay, we shouldn't tell anybody, and then we'll lie to the traitors, and then that way the traitors are going to think if we tell who we suspect of being the traitor false nominations, they won't nominate the correct people, and then we'll catch them in a trap.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I got lost here, but I know that Peter basically is like, he decides he's gonna go plant. He's gonna tell people secretly, like, hey, I'm gonna let you know something. You know, he's gonna let them know. I don't know. We're at that part yet. I'm just gonna be quiet now.
Yeah. So then Janelle's like, I have something to say. In the best interest of the faithfuls, we are not willing to reveal any information about who won Shield. So fuck off, idiots. And he's like, oh,
You've all decided that? Well, a tactical decision has been made. Brr.
so Dan's like, whoa, in this game, not revealing a shield makes it very difficult on us as traitors to pick someone to murder. But, you know, Janelle's being selfish, and that's going to help me as a traitor in this game because no one likes a selfish faithful. And that could get Janelle in trouble. We'll see at News at 10. We'll be back right after this commercial break.
So this is where Peter, he pulls first CT, Dan, and Parvati. He tells each of them in private. He's like, hey, I want you to know, I'm only going to tell you this. I'm going to tell anyone else. I got the shield. It was me. I'm not going to tell a single other person, so don't tell anyone. Don't tell anyone else.
But he didn't tell Parvati, but he didn't tell them all together. He told them
separately.
Right? Okay.
He told Dan separately, and Dan's like, all right, cool. In this game, thank you very much, bro. And then Parvati was like, okay, got it. Would you like a headband? Okay, no, that's fine. You don't know.
Yeah, he says that he and Janelle have it. Hello there. This is a 2-part recap, okay? This is the end of part 1. So thank you so much for listening to this. Just come back a little later for part 2.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors. Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
Strolling the park with Caitlin Clark.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. She's never scary, it's the Green Fairy. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
She's the wind beneath our Jennifer Wing.
Sip some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Kristen the Piston Anderson. Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino. Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie. My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender. We want to hang with Liz Lang. The incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel. She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain. She's quite the catch, it's Victoria Cotchett.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.